Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. My name is Rebecca Ravenbird and today we are going to be taking Penguin's Legacy's dressage quiz. So this dressage quiz is a really unique and creative idea. I've never seen anyone do this before and I'm wondering if this is going to be a tool to help people kind of self-diagnose what level they are in dressage, because usually what happens is you don't know what level you are until you actually enter a club. With this page on this website, and I'll put a link down in the description below on finding this quiz, but with this tool on this website, I feel like it's a really cool, like 24/7 kind of place where you can just take this quiz and, you know, see where you are. So we're gonna see if I'm actually an advanced writer, because I self-proclaim myself as an advanced writer because of a good chunk of the moves I know, but also some of the dressage skills and techniques that I know. And like I said, I have been reading this method, but I'm not done with it yet, so we'll see if it actually goes over some of the stuff that I personally have read. Take the short dressage quiz to see how well you know the Perfected Dressage Method with questions taken from Pikuel's Princess Quiz. Okay, so it's specific to this method, but we'll still see what happens. Please note that this is a very short quiz and will only give a brief insight on how well you understand the methods. Please provide your contact information and the results will be emailed to you. And then please note your results will take 24 to 48 hours to be received and processed. Okay. If you do not know the answer to the question, please select I don't know rather than guessing, as this will provide a more accurate result. Okay, so how big is this quiz? It looks like about 7 or so questions. Okay, here's the first question. What are the correct forms of gap corrections and how are they used? Okay, so without even looking at this, from what I know, for gap corrections, there's, I think the primary method is canter hops and walk hops. So there's that. And then there's also wiggling. So you can use proper wiggling of your horse's nose to slow down very slightly, but then also to correct forms of gap corrections. I don't know what she means by forms, but let's see. I'm gonna look at the answers now. Proper wiggling, canter hops, walk hops. Proper wiggling is when the rider gently taps left or right to slow the horse down. Canter hops is when the rider quickly does a small canter stride only on a straight line. Oh, that's important too. Walking is when you do a small walk step only when provided permission. Okay. So I think this is correct because I forgot about all of this information. So about when are you allowed to canter and when are you allowed to walk. So I'm gonna go with this one because I don't think this one, yeah, this one doesn't specify all of this stuff. So a corner adjusting, wiggling and walking, yes. So this one is definitely not it, because in the Perfected method, they don't use corners like they would in the semi-realistic method from Terrific Tigers. So corner adjusting, Emerald Hunters actually uses corner adjusting, and that's fine. You know, it's our method, and this, you know, this is what we decided on for our method. But corner adjusting is where you could do one of two things. You can cut your corners so you can make your track shorter, or you can kind of hit your corner late, and that's called swinging wide, I think. So where you turn a little bit later than the person in front of you to make your gap bigger. Yeah, corner adjusting is not part of the PQL method for sure. Okay, what is the go ahead go and how is it used? Shoot, okay. Like I said, I'm trying my best not to look at the answers before I actually try to answer it. So I think this is something that has actually personally confused me. I think a go ahead go is when you're supposed to reach a certain marker and you go on that marker automatically rather than having a go called. So let's see. When go ahead go is called, the riders will immediately do the move or shape that was called. That does not match my definition. So when go ahead go is called, the riders will do their specified move once they have reached a marker or timing. The riders will not go immediately on go. This command is used commonly in routines. Okay, so I think this is it, but let's look at this last one. When go ahead go is called, the rider will do the move called when their partner, as this command is used in specific partner moves. No, I think it's going to be the second option. So you have to hit a specific point or area or dot or something in the arena in order for you to actually perform the move. So instead of doing like a curl set pre-go, You could say something, I think, I don't know, curl at C or something. Go ahead, go. I think that's what it is. In the PDM, what is the gap window? Okay, so the gap window, I think it's a specified range. You can be in between HI and FI. As long as you're in between, you know, somewhere in between there, you will look correct gap-wise on the commander screen. So let's see. HI to FI, there it is. When performing circles, how does one fix their gaps? So you have to tap. You cannot canter or walk in a circle to fix your gaps, and you cannot use your outside key. You have to use your inside key. So you have to tap gently, and you have to tap either quickly or slowly with your inside key. So gently tapping slower or faster. Yeah, so it's really the big thing about fixing gaps in a circle. Is about the speed at which you're tapping your keys. So the next question is, when riding in line, riders should base their straightness off of an axis. Okay, so with the Perfected Dressage Method, you cannot rely on the people in front of you to be straight, because people can, and we talk about this in the Emerald Hunters Dressage Method as well, you can't rely on people in front of you to be straight. You have to rely on something that is fixed. So I think with the arena lines are never going to move. So because of that, you need to rely on the arena line or quadrant line or something on the arena floor, like a pebble line, even that, so that way you can maintain your straightness. So the sand line they are on. So we call this the axis, and the sand line is basically the same thing. What are L corners in the PDM and how are they performed? So an L corner is basically a 90-degree turn from one line to another line. So this can be used when you're turning on a corner, or you're turning from a comb back onto like table spacing or something like that. But an L corner again is a 90-degree turn from one line to the next. And also too, you have to look at your horse's hooves in order to be straight, because you can't rely on looking at your horse's neck, especially like with a horse like the Andalusian or the American quarter horse. You know, when they're turning their necks in their heads, their necks curve a lot, so you have to look at your horse's hooves in order to ensure straightness. So let's see. It's a sharp turn. The riders will make a sharp turn by tapping very quickly when turning onto a new wall. Okay, so another thing I forgot is that you have to press and hold your turning key and then release it when you're straight. So once you see that your horse's hooves are straight, that's when you release that turning key. Okay, so it says a 90-degree turn from one sand line to the next. Once their horse's nose reaches the sand line they wish to turn onto at the trot, they will hold down the directional key and release once straight. And then the last option is, it is a rounded turn from one sand line to the next. The rider will tap quickly depending on their gap size. Once straight, they will stop tapping. Okay, so this is, I believe, what they call a J corner. So we're gonna go with this one. Let's see, I'll try to actually do this. So this next question, I clicked on it by accident, but the next question says, why are riders encouraged to have their horses maxed and happy during dressage? So there's a few things that are related to maxed happiness. So the higher level your horse is, the faster it's gonna go. And then happiness, not only does that affect the speed, I think it also affects the response time. So when you have a happy horse, not only is it going to move a little faster, but it's also going to respond to any gait changes and turning a little bit better. But also too, when your horse is happy and it's maxed, then you're going to have less of an issue with keeping up with gaps and alignments and things like that. And also timing too, because like I said, with the response time is going to go up the happier your horse is. So we actually have that concept in the Emerald Hunters method too, and we have the acronym TAG, timing, alignment, gaps, and that relates more to screen delay, but I guess it also matters here as well, so I think that's something I need to consider for my own method. But let's look at the options here. Like I said, I clicked by accident, but it says, because being on a slow horse will greatly affect the rider's timing and ability to keep gaps in alignment. Okay. And then, because everyone should be uniform and the same level, because being on a slow horse will make the rider canter a lot and cantering is not allowed. Okay, so I think this is a good trick question, or trick answer right here, because this part of the question still would be correct. Okay, this first part here still matters. So if you're on a slower horse, you're gonna have to canter up constantly to fix your gaps. But it's the second part of this question that makes it not the correct answer, because cantering is allowed in the Perfected Dressage method. It's just only in certain situations that you're allowed to canter, right? Either you're given permission to canter, or you are looking at gap anticipation and you need to canter. So, you know, that's the writer responsibility there. So this is a quick trick answer here. I think I'm gonna go with this one based on my prediction. What is staggered alignment? Shoot. Staggered alignment, it's kind of like when you go into a waterfall and instead of being right next to each other, you're one off, you're displaced from another rider. So I don't know if they're gonna give me the answer in terms of gaps, but in terms of gaps, you need to be, I think for them, because they use HI, you need to be HI across from the person who was originally in front of you. For Emerald Hunters, our gaps are a little bigger. We do use OT, so we do use OT across. So let's take a look at the answers here. It's used for tier moves. The riders will be one off from each other on their screen, making them side by side on the commander's screen. Used for moves such as waterfalls or slants. Oh yeah, that's right. Slants. The riders will place themselves side by side to their partners so that the commander sees them staggered. Used for moves such as waterfalls or slants, the rider will maintain their original gap size, such as HI, with the rider who was originally in front of them, thus making the riders evenly spaced and staggered on the commander's screen. Okay, so this is the answer. I guess Bambi, I'm not sure who actually created this quiz, but I like what they're doing here, because these are trick answers. Parts of the answer are correct, but other parts are not. So it really forces you to read the question carefully and read the answer carefully so you're selecting the proper one. So I'm pretty sure it's this one. Let's see. What is passing timing? Good question. I think passing timing is when you reach like if you're in a comb or something like that, like if you're in a split, right? The rider line splits and then you comb and then you're coming towards each other. I think passing timing is either when you hit nose to nose or boot to boot, something like that. This one I'm actually really not sure on. So let's see. A type of transitional timing, also known as partner timing. It's used for partner moves. The rider will do the move called when they are nose to nose with each other rather than the commander calling go. The timing in which riders pass each other on the commander screen versus the rider screen. Probably not due to screen delay. And a type of timing used for riders to start trotting from lineup when go is called. Instead of trotting all at the same time, they trot when the person in front of them trots. So the answer for this one, actually, this is a pickup trot, I believe, but I believe it's this one, like I said earlier, nose to nose or boot to boot timing. I'm not sure. I think I've used boot to boot before, but nose to nose we have used more often. Okay, submit answers. So yeah, these were actually really good questions to see if I'm like any bit of well-versed in the Perfected method. So because of what it's set up here, it's gonna take a little bit of time to get these answers processed. Alright, so I'm ready to submit my quiz, but there's a little note down here. It says, check back in the future for new questions, as the test will be updated with new questions every month. So that might be a little fun thing. Every month we'll take the PDM quiz and we'll see how much we know. But like we said up here in the rules, it's gonna take like a day or two for the quiz to be processed. So this is gonna be part 1 of the video, and then in this next clip, after I hit submit my answers, we are going to go over my responses and see how well I did. So with that being said, let's submit our answers. Your quiz has been submitted. Your results will be emailed to you in 24 to 48 hours. All right. So this is going to be really interesting, and in the next clip we will see my results. Alrighty, so it's actually the next day, but apparently the results came in really quickly, so that's pretty cool. So let's take a look at the results. So it says, hello Rebecca Ravenbird, thank you for completing the PQL dressage quiz. Here are your results. Okay, so it tells you if you got the answer correct, what the question was, and the answer you selected, it looks like. Okay. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What happened to 6? What are L corners in the PDM and how are they performed? I don't know. I didn't put that. Oh my god. So, okay, you guys saw me actually talk through this answer, and I swear I thought I clicked this. Oh well. So I guess it was a user error, like I just misclicked somehow, but I knew the answer to this. I would have gotten that correct. But it's okay. 7, 8, and 9 are correct. Okay, great job. So I got an 8 out of 9. It says, great job, keep up the great work. A great tip for studying the PDM is just to read one chapter a day. It only takes a few minutes. Check back in a few weeks for new questions. Thank you, PQL. Okay, yeah, so I did, if it wasn't for number 6, that it was just a user error where I misclicked by accident, maybe if I look back in the footage, I'll see myself actually clicking the wrong one by accident. But yeah, it's really interesting to see that I actually know this method, pretty well based on these questions. So like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I think this is going to be a really unique tool, and I'm curious to see if other dressage clubs or other dressage methods might do something similar, and especially because of the questions that are asked here, this is a very, very specific method, and having this quiz really encourages and promotes the method further, because in order to answer these properly, and in order for you to know what, some of these terminologies are, you have to read the method, you have to read the concepts, you have to look at the diagrams, you have to look at the videos in order to understand this. So again, like I said, it promotes the method further because, there's no way to answer these questions without this prior knowledge, this very specific knowledge. So a term like this, if you look at the SSD method, they don't really have staggered alignment. The concept is still there in SSD, they just don't call it staggered alignment. So you would have to look at the PDM in order to understand what staggered alignment is and where the name comes from. So yeah, thank you so much PQL for creating this awesome quiz, and it was a really great exercise in testing my knowledge and explaining concepts in my own words. So that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to watch me do the next quiz next month, and be sure to leave a comment down below. Did you also take the PQL dressage quiz, and what did you learn from taking this quiz? Leave your thoughts down below, and with that being said, I will see you all in the next video. Bye!